Allow me to take you through a trade that I took on EURUSD and just show you how much trading is easy and why most of we traders should not even ever complicate trading. Trading is very easy when you approach it in a much significant way, whereby you just have to simplify the whole market structure, and by doing that, trust me, you will be able to catch really good trades. So the trades I took was the two trades. I made two entries on EURUSD, and the first entry was a 1 to 5 risk reward ratio, while the second one was a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio. So stay with me as I break down the trades that I took and just show you how much trading could be easy when made in simple way. Okay, so I'll just take out everything first. Okay, and I'll take you through the whole process and how I did it and how you could have also approached the trade. Okay, so first of all, I started on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, I came to the daily time frame. I noticed the price was bearish on the daily time frame. You can see by this breakout structure to the downside. This is the daily time frame. So after that breakout structure, I noticed that price was kind of moving on the sideways. That one was noticed by this move here. It was in a sort of a range at the moment. A couple of days it has been moving sideways, as you can see by multiple candles whereby they just go sideways. Okay, so on the daily I said no, let me proceed to the 4 hours. Since now the daily was in a range, I said let me come to the 4 hours to see the market in a much clear way. So I came to the 4 hours. I noticed that also in the 4 hours still price was not clear on the 4 hour. Now the only time it became much clear was on the break of this high. That is where the market gave me that change of character, and I moved to a lower time frame, which was the 1 hour. Yes, so the 1 hour I noticed that price had made that market structure shift to the upside, and after noticing that, I came, identified the order flows. Okay, that was my first order flow. Okay, after identifying the order flow, I also came to analyze this part here. Just a moment. So after I identified that order flow, I expected price to come back onto this zone. I expected price to come, mitigate this order flow, and then give me that sort of character change before I anticipated to take price much higher. So after identifying that zone, I moved on a lower time frame, whereby it was the 30 minutes. And coming on to 30 minutes, I noticed that price kept on pushing higher. There was no any sign of price reversing anytime sooner. So now this is where I came, identified this zone. This is my order block. This was my demand area. So I first identified this breakout structure right here on the 30 minutes time frame. We got that BOS right there, and you can see price pushed higher and higher. And so I said, now if price would just pull back into this zone, then I would be in for a buy. Okay, I just keep my trades simple. I don't complicate the whole thing. Okay, so I came in, identified that zone, made my stop loss just below that zone, and then my take profit, I said I want to get out of this trade when it hits that high. Okay, I was targeting the buy side liquidity, since now I already identified that the price was pulling back to the upside. Okay, So I said now if price is able to take that high, that was my take profit. Okay, so my entry was just right there and the stop loss below. Okay, and if you adjust that, it would be just 1 to 5. Okay, that's how it was. So I made that direct entry, made a buy limit order, and waited for price to get into my zone. Okay, so now when I'll move lower to the 5 minutes, okay, to just show you how price came and mitigated that zone, or rather let me just use the 15 minutes. Okay, all right, let me zoom in just a second. So now price, I made that buy limit order, waited for price to come into the zone. Okay, and that is how I managed to make that entry. Okay, so price was coming bearish at the moment, pushing into the zone. You can see that price came in and I was anticipating that it would just mitigate that zone and push higher. So just a moment. Now when I move to 5 minutes, okay, so this order has been tapped in. This is now an active trade. You can see that I got triggered a sniper entry right there. Okay, so after getting that sniper entry, I again said, let me now make another entry. So when you look at this zone, let's leave that trade on the side. So here again, the price gave us a reason to make another entry for confirmation. So here I got a market structure shift since it was now bearish on this end. But now on reaching here, you can see that it tapped that zone, gave us a break of structure with the 5-minute candle. You can see it very clear that that 5-minute candle closed higher right there. That one gave, I use it as a market structure shift. So on that close of this candle, I took my long here and I just placed it there. And I said, you know what, let me put my stop below this zone and target the previous high. Okay, just like that, I managed to secure a 1:3. Price tagged me into that trade. So now remember, there are two positions at the moment of making that other entry. So they now became two positions and price just kept on pushing higher, made a high, tapped into the take profit. Simple. No lagging of price. It just pushed straight to my zone. And that is how I managed to close with profits on those two positions that I took on Euro USD. It's a very much clear trade. Even when you look on the 1 hour, it was a perfect A plus trade setup whereby this was to be treated as inducement. Okay, that was my inducement, or liquidity, as most of you would prefer calling that as liquidity. And that is my zone, demand zone, as you see on the 30 minutes. And just like that, I got myself a 1:5 risk reward ratio and a 1:3 risk reward ratio. Always remember to keep your trades simple and never complicate your trades. As long as you identify the trend of the market, identify your zones of entry, move to the lower time frame, make your entries, and watch price play according to your analysis. With that said, guys, I wish you all the very best. See you in my next video as I will be making more analysis on the forex pairs. See you on my next video.